We are gathered here today to sip some tea, honey, so make sure you guys have your teacups ready because this tea is what? Piping hot. Hey, you guys, it's your girl T, and I hope everybody's doing good today. Make sure you guys have your teacups ready.
Get ready. Y'all get ready.
Yes, you get ready.
Because this tea is what? Piping hot. Hey, you guys, so I want to go ahead and talk about the whole Terry Crews situation. If you guys do not know, Terry Crews was trending today all over social media. Now, I've been following up with this case. I first told you about how Terry came out and he basically stated that a Hollywood exec groped him in front of his wife at a party, and that basically he wanted to tell his story. So he took to Twitter back on October 10th, and this was during when the whole Weinstein situation broke. And I told y'all back then that the rabbit hole goes deeper, and there's gonna be more and more people being accused, more and more people coming out, finding their strength, all types of stuff. They done said Benny Medina's ass done try to rape somebody. He claims it didn't happen. Honey, they even said drunk-ass Mariah Carey was out here groping and sexually harassing her damn security staff. Can y'all believe that shit? Even Mariah Carey is involved in this whole sexual abuse situation, okay? So like I said, the whole situation is getting crazy as hell. The list of accusers has grown so much. Everybody from Louis C.K. to Roy Price, Roy Moore, Bill Cosby, Brett Ratner, Jamie Piven, Kevin Spacey, Charlie Sheen, Mark Hallepin, James Toback, Steven Seagal, Dustin Hoffman, Jeffrey Tambor, Harvey Weinstein. Honey, I say let the damn purge continue. Purge these freaks out they holes, okay? Anyways, with that being said, the reason why Mr. Terry Crews was trending today is because he went on to Good Morning America and he gave one of the most honest, open interviews with Michael Strahan that I've ever seen. This interview was so raw, it was so real, and I was very, very proud of Terry Crews for coming out and saying what he stated. He said that when that executive and the man who did this to Terry Crews, his name is Adam Vanit, and basically he said that when he groped him like that in front of his wife, he felt all the way emasculated. So I want you guys to go ahead and watch this interview. It's about 7 minutes, but I want to play the whole interview. Check this out, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
And as we saw, it's all started from a tweet you wrote.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what happened?
First of all, back in February 2016, I was assaulted by Adam Vanit, who is the head of the motion picture department at William Morris Endeavor, one of the biggest agencies in the world, period. And what was wild is that my wife and I were at an event with Adam Sandler, and the thing is, he's also Adam Sandler's agent, he's Sylvester Stallone's agent, he's Eddie Murphy's agent, and he's connected to probably everyone I know in the business. And now, this is the thing. I did not know this man.
So you did not know him before this?
I have never had a conversation with him, ever. Okay, I knew of him, and I knew just because it's an agency thing, but the first time I ever actually had an interaction with him was at this event. And I'm looking at him, and he's basically staring at me, and he's sticking his tongue out, and it's just overtly sexual kind of tongue moves. And I'm sitting there like, it's a party, it's packed, the whole thing, and I'm looking like, is this a joke? I mean, I don't understand. It was actually so bizarre. And he keeps coming over to me. He comes over to me. I stick my hand out, and he literally takes his hand and puts it and squeezes my genital, and I'm jump back like, hey. And he's like, and he's still licking his tongue out and all this stuff. And I go, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he comes back again. And he just won't stop. And then I really got forceful, pushed him back. He bumps into all the other party goers, the whole thing. And he starts giggling and laughing. And let me tell you, Mike, I have never felt more emasculated, more objectified. I was horrified. I went over to Adam right then and there, and I'm, Adam, man, come get your boy. What is his problem? And so, you know what? And Adam was looking.
And your wife is with you.
My wife is right there. Now, let me tell you, he was acting so weird and so strange that I put myself between him and my wife, because with this tongue thing, I couldn't understand. Let me tell you, it's so bizarre. I wake up every morning wondering, did this really happen? It's nuts.
And you said it, your wife was there. She saw the entire
Yes.
thing. You said you went over to Adam immediately. What was his response?
He was like, well, I told him, I said, hey, man, he's grabbing my junk. I was like, Adam, what's wrong with your boy? And he looked like he didn't understand because it was bizarre to both of us. And I just literally, I said, that's now. When I looked at him, it was rage. And when I say rage, I felt like I could punch a hole in his head. Okay, but this is the deal. My wife told me 3 years earlier, she said, Terry, you can never handle any situation like this with violence. You are a target. You can be baited and pulled if you react physically. And let me tell you something, I've done it before, but this is the deal. When I grabbed her hand and I left that party, we were only there for like a half an hour, and I got in the car, I almost ripped the steering wheel off. And she just kept saying, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I just said, man.
She calmed you down with that.
She calmed me down because she was the one who told me that this kind of thing would happen and that you could be baited. And this is the thing, if I would have just retaliated in defense, I would be under the jail right now. And that's one thing I knew, that being a large African-American man in America, I would immediately be seen as a thug. But I'm not a thug.
Because
I'm an artist.
Because a lot of people would say, if that happened to me, the first thing I would do is I would strike back at somebody. But you chose not to do that.
Well, it literally, my wife had me prepared. This is so beautiful about it because she had me prepared. She knew something like this could happen, and man, and when it did, she was just right there for me. She's right there with me, and she saw the whole thing.
And then last week, we saw it in the piece, but you filed a police report last week.
Yes.
So what do you hope comes of this?
You know, people need to be held accountable, Mike. You know, this is the deal about Hollywood, and it's an abuse of power. This is abuse. This guy, again, he's one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, and he looked at me at the end as if, you know, who's going to believe you?
So you didn't think anybody would believe you if you came forward?
Last year, no. Actually, I let it go. Actually, I put it in the back of my head, and I understood why women everywhere had to let it go. But let me tell you, when the Weinstein thing started happening, I got PTSD. I was going, oh my God, this exact thing happened to me. I understand why they won't come forward. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times people go, well, why didn't you come forward sooner? But this is the thing, when a person of power breaks that boundary and violates that boundary, you're a prisoner of war. Immediately you're in a camp because you're trying to figure out when is the right time to come out. When the guard turns their head, when they leave a door open, you're digging tunnels with spoons and you're trying to find a way out, and you get out and then you finally find freedom and somebody says, well, it must not be that bad. You should have came out sooner. And you're like, I'm free. I finally got free. And this is the thing that a lot of people just don't understand, and they end up blaming the victim. And I have totally said, I will not be shamed. I will not be shamed. I did nothing wrong. Nothing. And the whole deal is people are like, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? You know what? Why don't you ask what he's doing? Why isn't Adam Bennett sitting here right now explaining his side?
Good question. And you wrote that tweet a few days after Harvey Weinstein's story broke.
Exactly.
So you felt empowered by everyone else's stories.
I did.
That let you step out of the darkness, if you want to say.
Let me tell you, I did. I was a keynote speaker at this place called Center for Community Solutions that dealt with relationship violence, sexual assault, and I heard all these stories from all these women who had finally get strength from each other's stories, and they came out, and I said, man, what kind of man would I be to tell my kids, if someone touches you where you don't want to be touched, tell someone, and then I don't do it. And let me tell you something, it freed me. I knew instantly that I had to tell my story so that other people can be free. And I didn't even name names. I was just in support of these women because they were called liars. They were like, you're just looking for a payday. You're doing it. And I was like, this is not what this is about. Your dream is like a child. What you're trying to do, your dreams, goals, aspirations is just as valuable as your children. And when someone binds up your dream and holds a gun to his head and says it's going to kill it if you don't do this, if you don't stay quiet, if you don't do this, it's a hostage situation. You are dealing with a terrorist. And I have my dream. I've worked so hard for this. What can I say? It's one of those things. I survived the NFL. I got the entertainment. I'm here, and I get assaulted by my own agent. It makes no sense, and it was foul to the core, and it still shocks me.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad you came here to share your story. Hopefully this is a big turning point for you and for a lot of the victims out there. We appreciate you, Terry. George?
Boy, that was a powerful interview. So much has been unleashed by this Me Too movement.
All right, so you guys just saw that interview. And like I said, I'm really glad that Terry, especially with him having the platform that he has, that he not only felt the strength to come out, tell his story, but also expose the man, put his name out there, put his picture out there, and most importantly, he filed criminal charges against the executive, which, you know what I'm saying, had the whole Harvey Weinstein situation not happened, he probably wouldn't have the strength to do that. So I definitely respect him for that. But I still see a lot of people online mocking him and saying that the only person who emasculated him was his wife, and saying that, you know, his wife needs to check his booty hole for lesions and all types of shit. Basically saying that I don't care, you're 6'8", there's no way in hell a man can come up to me and grab me in front of my wife and you just sit there and take that. So a lot of people are still, you know, clowning him and talking mess about him on social media, you know. And the thing that I find funny is that, again, society's very hypocritical. So many times we'll say, hey, sexual abuse happens to boys too. Hey, men too can get raped. And then when a man comes out, bears his heart, bears his soul, and lets the world know what happened to him as a 60-pound, 6'5" black man, you know what I'm saying? This is probably one of the most embarrassing things that he's had to deal with, especially being that it happened in front of his wife. And he came out, told his story, and you still got folks talking mess. You still got folks talking about, oh, shut up, you're a punk, sit your ass down somewhere. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Couldn't have been me. Because everybody's a superhero when they're not in a particular situation. Yeah, he could have went and got a job at McDonald's. He could have got a job, you know, doing customer service. But why should he have to leave the industry that he loves? He loves acting. He likes being in movies and TV shows. And I don't think he should have to leave because some idiot doesn't know how to keep his hands to himself and feels like he has a right to grope his privates. You know, so I think it's really sad that a lot of people are still clowning him and talking bad about him. You know, at the end of the day, I'm glad that he spoke out. I'm glad that he's sharing his story, and I'm glad that he was being brutally honest. Another person I need to call out is Darius McCray. Darius McCray was stopped by TMZ the other day and basically admitted that he too was sexually abused by somebody in the industry. But his interview really bothered me. I want you guys to go ahead and check out what Darius McCray had to say. Check this out, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
I was inappropriately touched by a Hollywood executive, and I'm not going to tell on nobody.
You don't have to tell the name, but when did this happen?
This happened when I was a young man.
On the show, on Family
No,
Matters?
this I'm not going to say, but that's what it is.
What happened?
See, I'm not thirsty.
What were the
so I ain't got to tell them my business because I'm not thirsty.
All right, so you guys just saw what Darius McCray had to say, and I find it really funny that he's saying that he's not going to name any names because he's not thirsty and looking for attention. Okay, if you're not thirsty and looking for attention, you wouldn't even mention the damn story, okay, Darius McCray? You are looking for attention. You are thirsty because if it was not a big deal to you, you wouldn't have said shit. You would have totally ignored the question and kept doing you. The reason why you put it out there is because you're hoping whoever did touch you sees that, and, you know, you hope that they pay you some type of hush money or some shit. You know, Darius McCray, people coming out and telling their story does not make them thirsty. It just means they're telling their story. Darius McCray needs to have several damn seats, okay? I don't think his comment was needed, nor was it warranted. If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to share your story, if you don't want to talk about what you went through, that's fine. But don't sit here and clown and discredit other people and call them thirsty for telling their story. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And make sure you click that bell so you can be down with the notification squad, honey. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right. Deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.